Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, lovers and seekers, those who are lost and those who are found. Tonight, we have another fragment. This one is titled Self-Doubt, and the body reads as follows. It's cunning, it's quiet, it's hard to discover what the problem is when you work for it. That's it, all of it, self-doubt. It's cunning, it's quiet, it's hard to discover what the problem is when you work for it. Let's get started, shall we? Self-doubt is rarely loud. That's the first mistake people make when they go looking for it. They expect it to announce itself as fear or insecurity or panic or self-hatred. They expect a tremor, a confession, a dramatic collapse. But self-doubt does not need to shout. It does not need to break anything. It does not need to oppose you directly. It works best when it sounds like you. That's what makes it cunning. Self-doubt doesn't argue against your abilities. It questions your conditions. It doesn't say, you can't do this. It says, now isn't the right time. It doesn't say, you're wrong. It says, you might want to check that again. It doesn't say, stop. It says, be careful. And because caution is a virtue, because restraint is often wise, because humility is usually praised, self-doubt hides inside good traits and wears their clothing. It dresses itself as rigor, as discernment, as patience, as responsibility. It presents itself not as sabotage, but as refinement. That's why it's quiet. Loud doubt is easy to spot. Loud doubt shakes the system. Quiet doubt becomes the system. The fragment says, it's hard to discover what the problem is when you work for it. That line does something precise. It shifts self-doubt from a condition you suffer to a mechanism you participate in, not consciously, not maliciously, but actively. You are not merely affected by it. You assist it. You collaborate with it. You give it labor. That's an uncomfortable truth, but it's an accurate one. Self-doubt thrives when it can recruit your intelligence. Dumb doubt is brittle. Smart doubt is durable. People who are not very thoughtful often crash straight through their limitations. They fail noisily. They recover quickly. They are embarrassed, then done with it. But people who can think, really think, can build entire architectures of hesitation that look indistinguishable from wisdom. They can generate reasons faster than courage. They can model consequences in advance. They can foresee failure so vividly that action feels irresponsible. This is where the fragment tightens its grip. When you work for self-doubt, you don't feel oppressed. You feel employed. You feel busy. You feel engaged. You feel like you're doing something. You're refining. You're waiting for clarity. You're improving the plan. You're reducing risk. You're gathering more information. You're being thorough. And all the while, nothing moves. The most dangerous thing about self-doubt is not that it stops you. It's that it convinces you that stopping is the result of good work. That's why the problem becomes hard to discover. There is no obvious failure to point to. There is no broken part. Everything appears functional. The machine hums. The notes are tidy. The revisions are endless. The standards are high. The thinking is sound. So what's wrong? The fragment answers that without answering it. It doesn't name the problem. It names the condition that makes the problem invisible when you work for it. That phrase implicates effort, intention, discipline, loyalty. Self-doubt doesn't always need fear. Sometimes it just needs conscientiousness. There's a moral dimension here that matters. Many people believe that doubt is something that happens to you, like weather, but the fragment suggests something harsher and more precise. Doubt can become a job, a vocation, a craft. You can get very good at it. You can build a reputation on it, careful, thoughtful, measured, not impulsive. You can become the person who always sees the flaw, the edge case, the missing variable. You can be the one who slows the room down. And sometimes that role is genuinely necessary, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's just safer than acting. And here's the hardest part to admit. Self-doubt often feels morally superior to confidence. It feels cleaner, less arrogant, less exposed. Confidence risks being wrong in public. Doubt risks nothing, especially when it never resolves. That's why self-doubt can coexist with pride. Not loud pride, but a subtler one. I won't move until it's justified. I won't speak until it's perfect. I won't commit until the risk is acceptable. Acceptable to whom? Usually to the part of you that is most afraid of being seen failing at full strength. The fragment does not accuse. It does not moralize. It simply states a structural truth. When you are the one generating the doubt, you are unlikely to recognize it as an obstacle. You experience it as diligence. This is why self-doubt is so difficult to confront in intelligent people. You cannot argue it away with reassurance. It does not respond to encouragement. It does not crumble under praise. It has already incorporated those things into its workflow. What disrupts self-doubt is not evidence of competence. It's interruption of the labor. You don't defeat self-doubt by proving yourself worthy. You defeat it by refusing to keep working for it. That refusal feels reckless at first, because when you stop feeding doubt, there is a brief moment where you are exposed without armor. You move without full certainty. You speak without perfect phrasing. You act before the system has signed off, and that moment feels dangerous. Not because it is, but because you are no longer protected by preparation as a substitute for commitment. The fragment's economy matters here. Short lines, declarative statements, no explanation, no escape hatches. It mirrors the thing it describes. Self-doubt is not verbose. It doesn't need a manifesto. It just needs time and cooperation. It's cunning. That's not an insult. That's an acknowledgement of intelligence. Doubt adapts. It learns your habits. It knows what will slow you down. It knows which standards you respect. It knows how to sound reasonable. It's quiet. That's a warning. Silence does not mean absence. Silence is often the sign that something has embedded itself deeply enough that it no longer needs to announce its presence. It's hard to discover what the problem is. That's the experiential truth. You feel stuck, but you can't locate the fault. You circle, you revise, you wait. When you work for it. That's the reveal, the hinge, the line that turns the whole fragment from observation into indictment, gentle, but unmistakable. There's a final irony here that's worth naming. The people most likely to write, read, and appreciate this fragment are also the people most capable of working for self-doubt at a high level. This is not a fragment for the careless. It's for the meticulous, the inwardly exacting, the ones who mistake friction for depth and delay for integrity. It does not tell them to stop thinking. It does not praise impulsivity. It does not celebrate recklessness. It asks a simpler, more dangerous question. Who are you working for right now? If the answer is doubt, the problem will remain hard to discover, because the system is functioning exactly as designed. And that is the quiet terror at the heart of the fragment. Self-doubt does not imprison you. It employs you, and it pays you in reasons instead of movement. That's why this fragment doesn't end with advice. It doesn't resolve itself. It leaves the reader in the condition it describes, aware but not rescued, seen but not absolved. Because the moment you truly see self-doubt as labor, you face a choice no fragment can make for you. Do you keep working, or do you walk off the job? The fragment doesn't answer that. It just tells the truth. And then it goes quiet.